there, and welcome to Wandering Works for Us. We're Shelley and Beth, a married couple living in Portugal and exploring the world one story at a time. Come wander with us as we laugh through language fails, cultural surprises, and GPS disasters, and discover just how amazing this world can be.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our podcast, Wandering Works for Us. I'm Shelley.
And I'm Beth.
And we're finally back.
We've taken a bit of a break.
We did, and not because necessarily we didn't have anything to talk about, but we've had technical issues.
Well, and we've also been very busy.
We have.
The holiday season was busy. My son came and stayed for a week. We had friends here for 5 weeks. A friend here for 5 weeks.
Not in our little place, though.
No, in
somebody else's little place.
And we did a lot with them, and it's just been busy.
Yes. And then we went to London last week.
We did, which we'll have to tell you about.
So we have been really busy. We've had this particular episode on Alcobaça in the works now since October of last year. And it's now January. So, yeah. We're finally getting to it.
We are.
Yay. So today's episode takes us to Alcobaça.
Yes.
Which is a lovely Portuguese town with a big history, famous for its monastery, its love stories, and surprising connection to wine and ceramics. Thank you, Chat GTP.
I was just going to say, Jesus. Okay.
Well, okay. So first of all, I want to say that the reason that I wanted to go to Alcobaça the first time, right?
Right.
So we were planning our first trip to Portugal, and I was looking up places I might want to see on this trip because I wasn't real sure.
And this trip was not even like find a place to live yet. That was the next trip.
Yeah.
This was does Shelley like Portugal enough to move here with Beth?
Yeah. It was just, let's see what's up with Portugal.
Yeah.
Right? And then I got online and I read this love story about Inês and Pedro and their coffins in the Alcobaça Monastery. And I was like, oh my God, that's a place I want to visit. But alas, Alcobaça is not that easy to get to from Lisbon or Porto unless you have a car.
Unless you have a car.
So I didn't get to see them on the first
trip. And those
trip.
would not be called coffins, dear.
A sarcophagi?
Sarcophagi.
For
Very
real?
good. Or tomb. No, they're not tombs.
Well, they're technically tombs, and I think they're even called tombs.
Are they?
Yeah.
Anyway.
But anyhow.
It's not like they're wooden coffins from the U.S.
No, they're actually made of sandstone.
Yeah.
But that's a whole story.
We'll get there.
Yeah. So after we moved to Portugal, a few months later, we moved in March in 2023. And in May 2023, we went on our first trip to Alcobaça to see the monastery and the tombs, sarcophagi, coffins.
Yes.
And the rest of the monastery, of course.
We've been back since then 2 or 3 times.
Yes, because there's more to Alcobaça than just this monastery.
Yes.
Although it is the big pull in for tourists and everything. But they also have this amazing wine museum that we finally got to go to. They have a ceramics museum we have yet to go to. And then they have these castle ruins that are pretty cool to walk up to and see the view of the city. And they have some pretty good restaurants in town. It's a neat stop in between Lisbon and Porto if you're on your way north, or vice versa, Porto to Lisbon.
If you're in a car.
If you're in a car.
Yeah. And it's small enough to be walkable, but it's big enough to have several, probably 20 restaurants you'd want to eat in if you had time.
Well, we have a list. We might put them online for you.
We do indeed.
Okay. So the first thing we'll talk about is the monastery. Yes?
Yes. I'm looking up to see. Oh, they do call them tombs.
I have been vindicated. I've also had a gin and tonic, so I'm going to be a bit chatty. All right. So this monastery actually began, well, The monastery began, how do you say that?
Was established.
Construction on the monastery began
There we go.
in the 1150s. And of course, it was founded by King Alfonso Henriques. He was the first king of Portugal. So, 1150 was a long time ago.
It was indeed.
But it, of course, just like other monasteries in Portugal, was built because Alfonso made a deal with God, and then he built a monastery.
There we go. It's now a UNESCO World Heritage Site.
Which is, I can check that off on my bingo
Yes,
card.
she likes that.
And it was built by the Cistercian monks.
Very good on the pronunciation.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
I had to look it up because that's a weird word. Who were the Cistercian monks?
They were very influential at the time. They had a real emphasis on being vegetarians, being cloistered away.
Did you say cloister?
I did.
Because there's nice cloisters inside the monastery.
There are, and everybody knows that Beth loves a good cloister. Hi, Julie. Also, it was the first monastery in Portugal that was built in the Gothic style.
Well, you're going to have to explain that one because
it's pretty important that way.
My architectural knowledge is not that great.
It's getting better.
It's getting better, though. I can recognize some things.
Yes.
But what do you mean by Gothic?
So Gothic style is, well, first of all, it's European, and it was really popular from the 12th to the 16th centuries. And it had an emphasis on verticality, so very tall, vertical things. And
the front of that monastery is very tall.
It is. And also on light. A lot of pointed arches, ribbed vaults, flying buttresses. All of this kind of helped to create a soaring space that was filled with light. Another infamous building would be Notre Dame in Paris.
Ah, there you go.
So
if you've been to Notre Dame, that would make sense. But yes, when you walk into the actual nave part, the church, which is free to the public, you can walk in there.
Yes.
It is very tall and has those round arches, and they have several windows in there that there's a lot of light in that one room where the coffins / tombs / sarcophagi are.
There are. There is.
But the rest of the monastery is very practical. And they were really good about, not only were they, we say they were cloistered, but they also helped the community a great deal. They kind of grew Alcobaça in a sense.
They did.
Because they had a great deal of farming going on around the monastery where they had grapevines and they were good at making wine.
And one of their beliefs was in helping people in their community that needed help.
So they were there to support the community. They were big on agriculture, and they also had a system. So when you you don't necessarily have to take a tour, but it does cost to get inside the monastery. There is probably my favorite part of the monastery was the kitchen area.
It was it was the best monastery kitchen I've ever seen.
Oh my God, they could have fed millions, maybe millions, but definitely thousands of people.
Yeah, the size of those work tables and the size of, or how many places they had to grill fish or whatever. It is just amazing, the scale of it.
Plus, they had built it so that, so there's two rivers that come together in Alcobaça. It's a beautiful love story that I'll have to tell you sometime. But there was one called Alco and the other called Bassa.
How about that?
And they come together in Alcobaça. And so the monastery has taken the river and it's irrigated it so that part of it flows into the monastery, or it used to. It doesn't do this anymore.
Yes.
And it would provide the monastery with fish from the river.
Right. And so there's actually an open place,
like a bathtub, but
like this
bigger,
giant
thing in the kitchen where the river's running through and the fish are in the tank.
And you can walk down the little steps and catch the fish. And I was amazed by this kitchen.
And then there was a humongous oven.
Yes.
or fireplace oven, but the way they had it set up, it was the biggest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was amazing. I would highly recommend taking the time, if you're going to Alcobaça, to not only bop in the church and see, that incredible architecture, but also to do that tour and see it, because it's not just cloisters, as we've talked about before, but it's the kitchen area, and
you get to see the upstairs part where the monks actually slept.
Yeah, and also you get up close to some of the architecture on the exterior, like they have those rain spouts that are, each rain spout is a different animal or a
really
different
cool
person or something. And when you go up into the monastery, you're kind of close to those when you're on the upper floor. You can really see them. I've got some great pictures of them. Maybe you can put one in the blog if you
Yeah,
have it.
I'll have it on Instagram and Facebook too when we actually publish this. But yeah, it's really an incredible monastery to see. Not the most incredible in Portugal, but totally worth the time, especially if you're interested in the story of Inês and Pedro, which was a tragic love story. And we do have a podcast about this story.
Yes, because it has a connection to our town.
Yes. But to see their graves, sitting in the main part of the church, and the intricacies of the
tombs.
Of the tombs. I mean, it is quite amazing. Somebody spent a great deal of time
carving on
carving
them is
those
incredible.
out. Yes.
Yeah. And we've said this in our podcast about them, but to remind you, if you haven't heard it or have forgotten, they are positioned on each side of the altar, and their feet are facing each other, so that when the second coming happens and they rise up, they will be looking at each other. That's the first thing that they will see. It was Pedro's wish for his first vision to be of his
wife.
Love.
Yeah. It's so sweet, isn't it?
Is.
It's so romantic. But Portugal is full of monasteries. I have a whole blog post about how many monasteries there are in Portugal. But they're fascinating to tour because you see the way of life that was going on in the 1500s, the 1600s, 1700s, until they abolished, of course, all the monasteries in Portugal, technically speaking, and now they're, places you can tour. But they show a rich history of Portugal and the Catholic faith.
And there are not only the famous ones, like this one that we're talking about, but, you can, not quite like this, but you can go around the corner in some random town, and all of a sudden there's a sign that says monastery.
Climb the hill. A tour of the place will probably take about 2 hours or so if you take your time through there. If you have a private guide, of course, it might take you a little longer and you'll learn some more. But I think it took us a couple of hours to go through it. And then right across the street from the monastery is this whole strand of some fantastic restaurants to go try, where you can just sit out there, have a nice glass of wine, and enjoy the view of the monastery.
Yes, I highly recommend doing that. It's good people watching too.
Yes, it is.
Right where that is. It's good people watching.
Yeah. The next place we want to talk about in Alcobaça is
the Wine Museum, which, as much as I love the monastery, I've got to say that the Wine Museum is one of my favorite spots. It was so interesting.
It took us so long to get there, too. I don't know why in the world did we just figure out that there was a wine museum there? Yes. Or did we know?
No, we didn't know for like 2 or 3 years.
Since we've been here, we didn't know there was there one.
We did not know that there was a wine museum in Alcobaça, and I think I just discovered it by accident when I was looking at Google Maps and looking for other things to do in Alcobaça, and I'm like, wine museum? What is this?
Mm-hmm. It was really cool.
It was a good one.
We highly recommend.
And it really is more of a wine museum, and then you can taste some wine that they make, but it is not like a winery tour where you see all the vats and all of that. It's more about the guy who started this and the museum part.
Yeah, they don't. Well, they do make wine there, but you don't get to see the whole wine making process that you would in normal winery tours or whatever.
It's different.
It's wine memorabilia. I can't even say that word.
That is a good way. And you can see the old, when they did produce right there in the buildings where you are touring, you can see where they used to stomp the grapes with their feet and all of that, But it's actually made kind of on the back of the property now. And if I'm not mistaken, it's in conjunction with another company or something. I don't know.
I can't remember.
We didn't do much of that. But the museum part, it's just really interesting.
Yeah, the museum part is actually old cellars that used to hold the wine. So when you walk into a certain part of the museum, you can actually smell the wine kind of coming off the walls from many, many years ago.
Yes, because they used to just think of it as a room, there's a corridor, and then off of that there's several rooms, and these rooms were actually filled with wine to ferment and, do their thing, age, and then they would draw it out of that. It's really just...
And put it in casks.
Put it in casks and all that. And they had a temporary exhibition while we were there that showed some really interesting artwork from around that area, as well as there was a video that was really interesting that was about old Alcobaça with the windmills and the winemaking, the gathering of the grapes and all of that. So sometimes they have these temporary exhibitions. But the original person that owned this, family that owned it, was a huge collector of wine labels and wine bottles, and not just wine, also port. Well, port is wine, but not just red and white wine, but Vino and Blanco, but also port and other kinds of liquor. And so what people started doing after a while is they would mail in their labels that they used on their bottles to this guy. And so he has this collection of thousands and thousands of wine labels and wine bottles. And most of the wine bottles are not even opened, but the wine in them is not good anymore.
Wine.
That is not good anymore, because some of them are from the 1700s.
No, not that old.
1800s.
No. Early 19s maybe.
Okay.
I don't think there was anything in a bottle that old. Now, there might have been a bottle, there from 17 or 18s, but I don't.
That somebody gave them.
Yeah, or the old equipment that they used to stomp the grapes, the cisterns and the presses, those sort of things.
Yeah.
I mean, from that era. But yeah.
That was all in there.
But there's one room of nothing but just bottles of wine.
Yeah. And there's artwork. He collected different kinds of art or large posters advertising wine. It's a really fascinating place to go through. You go through with a guide that's, included in your ticket price, and he just tells you all about it. Remember those charts on the walls where it showed it was a snapshot in time of how much wine came from Portugal, how much wine came from France, how much, all of these sort of worldwide facts from that year of wine. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, it's definitely worth doing.
It is. And the cool part about it is, along with your tour, you can opt to do a wine tasting while you're there. And of course, that's what we did, because we would not opt out of a wine tasting. That's just crazy talk.
That's crazy talk. And they have this really cool, I'm going to call it bar restaurant area.
It's a drinking area. There's no restaurant there.
There's no food service. Maybe snacks.
There's no food service, but they did serve us a few like wine, cheese, crackers, that kind of thing with our wine, because you can't get us too drunk.
That's true. And in the summer months, we were there in October, but in the summer months during tourist season, I'm sure it gets much
I think
more
they do them much more, and they have
crowded.
food trucks out there sometimes.
Yeah,
I think on the
stuff like
weekends.
that. We were there as is our habit in the off season. The wine that they produced, we really liked some of it. Some of it was just okay, but
We ended up buying wine from them.
we bought wine from
Yes.
them. We bought a special bottle. We bought one, and the person that was with us bought one. And we actually had it at Christmas.
And we bought their regular wine too. You just don't remember because I drank it while I was cooking.
Oh. Okay, fine.
I like their red a lot. Their white was a little too sweet for me, but the red was good.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking about.
Yeah.
So we recommend going there, and it's called, it's literally called
What would it called? The Wine Museum.
the Wine Museum,
of
isn't it?
Alcobaça. Yeah.
Yeah, in Alcobaça. I would say you would spend,
The tour was about 45 minutes.
yeah, and then the wine tasting was
About
30.
30, yeah.
So you should allow about 2 hours,
Yeah.
probably.
So you go to the monastery, you go have lunch, you go have some wine, and then if it's open or if it's not open, there's a ceramics museum too.
There is, which we tried to go to.
We tried.
And it was supposed to be open on the day that we were there, but it was randomly closed for some reason. I don't remember why. There was
Well, we actually asked somebody
a sign
somewhere
on the
about
door.
it, and they said that the place was often randomly closed.
Yes.
I believe a volunteer or someone is supposed to be there, and they have a hard time finding somebody to be at the ceramics museum. So, of course, the day we show up, it's closed.
it would be very interesting because Alcobaça is one of the places that has a really good reputation for ceramics. And so I want to go back.
So we'll call in advance this time.
Something. But, hey, we like Alcobaça, so we'll go back.
And, ceramics are known all through Portugal anyway, especially the blue and white tiles you'll see. So you can buy ceramics like crazy in that area in Alcobaça too. Also, while we were there, just because I wanted to check it out, we went to the castle ruins. And it's like a wall.
Yeah.
It's not really like much of a castle there. It's a wall. But
Some foundations.
Some foundation.
Yeah.
The cool thing about it is, number one, we drove to the top of that hill mostly. And number two, it has a fantastic view of the monastery and Alcobaça below.
Yeah, just this incredible sort of panoramic view. You can really get an idea of the scale of how big that monastery is.
Yeah, because, you're walking through it for 2 hours. You know it's pretty big. But when you stand up there and look at it, oh, my gosh.
Yeah,
It
so
is huge.
I recommend, once you drive up there, if you park close, you just hike up a tiny little hill. It's not, you don't even say hike, you walk up a little hill.
Yeah, there's no
I
hike.
did it with a bad knee. It's okay. There's not much there. I highly recommend going up there for the view.
And the pictures. You need your Instagram pictures from up there. Definitely.
It was gorgeous.
But it was incredible. But Alcobaça in general is just a neat place to walk around anyway, because they have cool shops there, great restaurants. They have, street art on
They
the
have the
walls.
river walk.
The river walk is really neat.
Yeah, they've got a planned and built walk that's along the river. And, in one area you'll come upon this wall that has all of these gorgeous ceramics vases that are on top of the wall. And then you come along and there's a little dam and there's ducks swimming. And it's just a lovely little walk.
It brings you into the convergence of both the rivers, and so you get to see that. And they're not huge rivers, but you do get to see it. And then they have a park out there, too, that plays homage to Inês and Pedro, and you get to sit in these two thrones and take your pictures and things like that. We did that one time, too,
Yeah,
when
we did.
went up there. Just looking around. So it's just a neat place to take a break, take a walk.
Wander.
Wander around as
around.
one does, and we highly recommend. Love Alcobaça.
Yes.
One side note as we wrap this up, is if you're driving to Alcobaça, you need to stop at Atelier du Doce.
Highly. Can't recommend it high enough.
I think they also actually have a shop in Alcobaça, but we haven't been to the one in Alcobaça.
They do?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. We always go to the one that's like on this side of Alcobaça.
Yeah.
We don't go all the way in, but they have a shop, Atelier du Doce, and they have the greatest pastries in Portugal. Oh my God.
They are
get everything.
It's a cut above pastries that, I mean, you find incredible pastries in almost every cafe, here. Some are better than others, but none are bad. But this is then a notch above.
These are sweets.
They're gourmet pastries.
Yes, everything that you can imagine. And I highly recommend the tangerine Bolish de Berlin. They are amazing.
Yes.
Get the tangerine ones, but the red fruit's good too.
I highly recommend the Carmelo cheesecake. Isn't it a cheesecake?
Yeah. It is a cheesecake. It's amazing
caramel
too.
cheesecake, and you can get a single serving. And anyway,
stop in there, get a snack.
Yeah, they have a coffee shop. They have a cafe where you can order a piece of whatever, and they have great coffee. And they also have a gift shop that has kitchen-related things in it, and it's a good place to stop.
Yes, definitely do that.
Yes.
All right. Is there anything else we can talk about that, Alcobaça?
I don't think so. I think if I were going to sum it up, I would say that it's just a really great town. It's one that is not always on the most popular list, if you will. It is well worth the trip there.
Yes. We go just for the food sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, what do we have coming up next? Carnival's coming up next month.
Carnival is coming up.
Yeah.
Yes. And we've just been to London.
Oh, I have a Lisbon Part 2 podcast we need to do too.
Yeah.
Of second tier things you should definitely do while you're in Lisbon.
Okay. And then, of course, in May, which is still, 4 months away, we're going to be in England, like the York and
the Cotswolds.
And why can't I think of the college town?
Oxford.
Oxford, yeah, that one.
Going on my Discovery of Witches Harry Potter tour.
Yeah, we're going to be all in those areas for about 10 days. And then we're going to be in Scotland and Northern Ireland.
Again.
For 2 weeks.
But we're visiting friends this time.
Yeah, and we're doing all kinds of
new stuff.
Stuff that we haven't done.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it will be a kind of an epic trip because we'll be gone for 3 weeks. And of course, you'll get to hear about that.
Meanwhile, we'll have some visitors come in March and in April, and I'm definitely gearing us up for some Portugal day trips.
Yes.
Because the weather here has been crappy, and that's mild. What I really want to say is explicit.
Yeah. It's been very rainy, and for here, it has been cold. And it's been windy a lot. It's been rainier, windier, colder than it usually is. So it's been a bit of a long haul. But I also feel like we cannot complain because our friends in the United States, a lot of them are sitting in their homes as we record this with 4 inches of ice on the ground and they can't go anywhere. So,
Oh, poor babies.
They're at 0 Fahrenheit and we're at 50. So
almost 60 today.
Yeah.
Really.
So, it's all relative.
Yeah. I haven't seen the sun in months, but it's okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess that wraps it up. So I guess I will say boa tarde.
Boa tarde.
Thanks for wandering with us. If you had a laugh, learned something new, or just enjoyed the ride, be sure to follow us on all of our social media at Facebook, Instagram, Threads, TikTok, YouTube, and I think that's it. Check out our website at www.forus, that's www.forus.com, and drop us a line at our email address at wandering@ www.forus.com. We'd love to hear from you, your stories, questions, or favorite travel fails. Until next time, keep exploring, keep laughing, and remember, wandering works for us, and it just might work for you too.